What's up, everyone? Welcome to Euro Truck Simulator. Actually, I am on the multiplayer for Euro Truck Simulator 2. People, this is actually a European server I'm on as well, not the American. The American is pretty much dead. There's really next to no one on there. So I came over here to Europe. The ping isn't that bad. I've been right around 115, 120 for the last hour or so that I've been driving around. And now that I'm getting used to things over here, I'm still getting used to the shifting. I have the Volvo 12 going on this, and so it's 1, 2, 3, then you go up, then it's 1 or 4 low, 4 high, so on and so forth. So it's not the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then shift up like you do have on the Eaton. So little getting used to how things are, and you know, today I decided to do just a little research and some light reading on the differences between driving truck in Europe as well as driving in America. And wow, talk about different. There is a major difference between all of them, really. Hours of operation, really. Hours of service. That's the one main thing that I read about this. If I remember correctly, and I'm trying to go off of memory, and like I said, it was just light reading, so I will educate myself more as the time goes on. But European drivers can only drive for like 9 hours a day. And then it didn't say what their total drive time was. So here in the States, it's 11 hours driving, 14 hours on duty total. Then you have to be off. And your reset is after 32 hours, if I remember correctly. In Europe, the reset is longer. You have a longer reset. And it was weird, if I'm understanding this correct. And also, for some reason, I am limited on speed. I don't know why. I'm not on a speed limited server, and the speed limiter is off in my settings, yet I'm still limited, so I must be missing something. But the thing that really, you know, kind of had me scratching my head was, and even the way they explained it was really like, huh? It's during that 9-hour workday, if you don't take a certain amount of breaks, and it was, shoot, I think it was like 45 minutes or something. No, it was more than that, because they said it was like a 15 and a 30, and then there was another one. So you have to take a certain amount of break time within your first 4.5 hours of service driving before you can continue on with the other 4.5. And, you know, they were breaking it down to different scenarios and this and that, because I guess there's loopholes and there's scenarios that will help the drivers get more drive time. So they were saying, you know, the driver can drive for so long on this week, and then they can do so long, you know, it was like 56 hours, and then 56 hours, and then they can drive on the 4th week, you know, such and such amount of time. So they've really worked in this complex system of hours of service that truck drivers over here in Europe can do. Completely different than what American drivers have. And yeah, they do have more downtime. You know, the travel time on, you know, the drive time only 9 hours compared to 11. But, you know, are we comparing apples to oranges here? Europe is nothing like America when it comes to size and distances between point A and point B. Unless you're talking about going from somewhere in Wales or northern Britain or something all the way out to Hungary or something. But even then, that's still, I mean, I would have to see an overlay of the map, or miles wise, you know, is that comparable to going from LA to New York? But, you know, it is comparing apples to oranges. But it was just amazing and to me, and not surprising really, given what I have seen and learned and heard of Europe as it is, with the regulations and the rules and the laws that they have on things, it's just surprising. No, it's not surprising. It's just different, really. And I mean, I've already known the reason why you see more cab-overs in Europe than you do in America is because Europe regulates how long the overall truck length of the vehicle, or in this case the truck, can be. So, all the trailers are pretty much the same length, unless they're dump trucks or something, then they're going to be shorter, things like that. But all the trucks are going to be cab-overs because, well, they have a max length of the total combined vehicle. Whereas in the United States, it's just a max length of the trailer, 53 feet. Anything over that, you need a permit. I imagine the same thing here in Europe. I mean, how else do big items get moved? You got to have special permission for that. But the other thing and this was outdated information. This goes back to 2011. Oh, screw it. The thing I also found somewhat amazing was that the driver's licenses for people here in Europe with the truck drivers, I don't know if it's for everyone, they have a microchip in them. And to combat the thing about, driving, kind of fudging the numbers, many of us here in America who drove have done that before. Anyone who's run a paper log, I would have to say 98% of us, yeah, we've lied about things. We weren't completely accurate about our time. They've done everything they can to keep that from happening here. You have to swipe your driver's license with that microchip in it to show that you're on duty. And the system keeps track of it for a year, so law enforcement can go back and tally up and keep track of your hours of service and where you've gone and what you've done. So the truck not only keeps track of a lot of this information, but now the government, along with your driver's license and the microchip that is found in that, is also doing the same thing. So just an amazing amount of technology and bureaucrats and red tape and everything else that goes into being a truck driver over there. And various different posts or blogs or whatnot said that there aren't a whole lot of truck drivers over here because a vast amount of freight is still moved by train. And although, yeah, the train, most towns can be serviced by a train, you're still going to need trucks to move everything. But it doesn't seem like you have trucks moving goods the vast distance across Europe as we do here in the States. So it's just, it's a whole different world, and it's really interesting to learn about what these truck drivers go through. I mean, the one thing that was common across everything I read was, if you're a truck driver and you've got to stop for the night, or you're stopping for food, get ready to, give up your firstborn. Buying food on the road is not cheap. Many of us who have had to spend a night in a truck stop here in the States, in Europe, you better be in a truck stop or rest area before 7, because they fill up. And on top of that, many of them charge for overnight parking, where I only know of one place, at least in the Chicagoland metro area here, and I don't know if they still do it, but they used to charge for overnight parking. Yeah, you'll see your parking lots here and there where they want, a receipt from the restaurant, and they'll let you park overnight. Chances are you're going to go in there anyway. But one thing that was common was finding a parking spot, and if you're going to be there for more than a couple hours, get ready to pay for it. And if you're going to buy food, get ready to pay for it, and pay dearly you are. So it just a lot of interesting things, and there's still more to learn. Once I can find a good place for comparative... Oh, no, that is my exit. Okay. I was expecting another one. Once I can find a good spot for some comparative, in America you have this, and in Europe you have this kind of deal. But just a little bit of reading I did today, it was, if someone wanted to go drive truck in Europe, you're in for a whole different world. The other thing, and I've already known this from watching various television shows that were based out of Europe, mainly England, speed cameras. Very common for speed cameras. One person who wrote a blog about his travels in Europe said, out of my whole trip, I only saw, and I guess he was there for a week or two or whatever, he says he only saw four cops on the highway. And one of them was assisting in an accident. So, driving all around Europe, he only sees 4 cops on the highway. That's because they have speed cameras all over the damn place, so cops don't have to patrol. They don't have to sit there and radar people. I'm sure they do. But, when you have a wide network of speed cameras all over the place, tracking everyone's movement. Ooh, I was already in 4 high. Oops. It allows the police to actually go do something else. Then again, the speed camera, it takes a photo of you while you're speeding. It takes a photo of the front of the car, it takes a photo of you, and it has, all the information there, time stamped and ready for you, so you really can't deny it. One other little story I heard, I was reading, and before, as I'm dropping this thing off, it was the person was discussing how certain areas, certain nations or people of nations tend to make up their own rules of the road. And he said people in, I think it was Italy and Greece, are very known for this. He said he was in Rome in a taxi, and the guy blew three red lights. And he goes, scusi, why are you blowing these red lights? And the guy with his broken Italian English, red lights, they're garbage. They're garbage, basically. He says if no cars are coming, I go. Red light stupido. And he says the police, they say the same thing. No cars coming, you go. And he's like, oh, okay. So I guess in certain areas you can go ahead and blow red lights as long as no one's there. But it's also a different mindset over there than it is over here too, so that necessarily wouldn't work too well most of the time. Although I agree with the driver's reasoning on it. If no one's there, then what's the freaking point of sitting there for, all that time waiting for the light to turn green? But yeah, I thought that was just a little comical. Well, that was cool. Watch the right dead center right there. There we go. Cool. That's different. No trailer brake. What else moves around here? Nothing else turns there. I know the inverter turns. The retarder. Yep. I think that's about it. Alright. That will do it for now. Didn't really see anyone on the road, but then again, like I said, people are logging off in Europe, so maybe the next time I'm on here I'll do it sometime during the day, like on a weekend or something. I was on here once before, last month I think, 1,200 people. So I'm looking forward to that one. That is it for now, guys. Thank you for watching. Oh, there's someone suddenly right next to me. He's got a trailer sitting on top of him. That's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Tune in for more. Catch you later.